Welcome to Being Free from Anxiety. My name is Emma Upton and I'm here to spill all the tea on what it actually means to be anxiety free. When we don't have anxiety, we learn who we're here to be, what we're here to do, and then our unique body of work locked inside the codes of our DNA gets to flow through. It's as easy and not simple as eating cake and drinking tea. So join me as we dive in together to today's episode. Cheers. This is episode 22. I want to talk about if you're the master of grind, if you have mastered the fact that life is not going to get exceptionally different unless you're willing to put the hours and the energy into that work. If you are the master of that and you're relentless and you're creating results and you're thinking, oh my gosh, who am I? What am I? I'm immense in that way. But your results are plateauing. That is a sure sign to call something different in, because the way that I look at it is I became a master. I became a master of the grind, hard work, determination, relentlessness, and not giving up. I became the master of those things. And I got results. That's the most scary thing about it, isn't it? When the energy we exert into something is more or less in parallel with what we get a return on. So how much energy we put into our relationships, we get a return on that. How much energy we put into our businesses, into our work, we get a return on that. How much energy we put into our children and nurturing our children, we get a return on that. So working hard, we get a good return. When we do the grit and the determination and the hard work, we get a good return on that. And so it can be really simple to fall into the trap of, oh, I just need to keep grinding. I just need to keep working hard. Now, for some, that skill hasn't been mastered yet. And that's okay. That's perfect. This isn't for those people. This is for the people that are masters. And when I say masters, like, you know, that there's days when you're not feeling like it. But in the main, like you do, you create results. But there is only so far that will take us. And if you in your life, in your business, you're experiencing a plateau right now, meaning that your results have been going and going, and they do this, don't they? And they do this, and then you're like, where do I need to put more energy? And you swap and you change and you shift and you course correct and all of those things. But you're like, it's been a minute and I'm still in this plateau space. For me and my experience, that plateau is a calling to do something different. Saturday sitting was created for me as part the sixth step of the FINE formula, because I only knew how to go. I only knew how to go and to do and to push and I didn't want to sit for hours. When I was looking at anybody who's doing anything remotely brilliant in their life, from the Buddha to anybody, they all said the same thing: meditation. I'm like, well, that's fine for you, Buddha. That's your life. That's fine for you, because you literally need to teach people this like it's your life. I'm a teacher. I was a primary school teacher at the time. I have a family. I have a house to run. I have a life to uphold. I can't sit for hours meditating. And then there's a proverb that says, if you can't fit meditation for an hour into your life, you need to do 2. Like, well, you don't have my life. That doesn't work. But I knew I needed to fit it in somewhere. So Saturday sitting is for the person who understands. It's a given. I know I need to show up. I know I need to take action. I know the amount of energy I put into something is what I'm going to receive back into the world. Like, I'm good, Emma. I know that. Like, it's for you. It's for me. It's for those of us that know we're here for more and know that we've got to get on with it, because our time is limited. This lifetime is short and we've got a lot to do. Sitting down for hours on end, that ain't the one. If you have a brain that's been like, oh, this and that, and we need to be doing this and we need to do that, and poor sorts, literally saved my life. I meditate for hours now. That is not to be like, oh, look at me, I meditate for hours. It's like, no, That is what I feel inspired to do. How have I got to that point? Because I resisted the bejeez out of meditation, and meditation for big periods of time. Like, I just wanted to do, just let me do, just let me do. It was when I recognized the power of this sensory experience that we're all living in. I noticed that we have a supercomputer that interprets this world. This world is a sensory experience, and this supercomputer allows us to interpret what we receive in this sensory experience through this supercomputer, and then we make our life out of that process. And I was like, hang on, what if I start feeding this sensory experience what I want to have? So, okay, I recognize that meditation is an important part of being a human. I recognize that co-creating in the subconscious space is why I'm here. But my brain does not want to give me the time to do that. What is the solution? The solution is the rainbow road through to the subconscious, that space where we link the conscious brain into the subconscious. The reason that we're showing up today and together when as often as you can be here, this is the work of creating that connection. And I knew from direct experience, because I went and and learned from like monks and Tibetan monks and Vipassana meditation and Thai temples and Indian temples, lots of different places. I was like, oh guys, I just haven't got time for this. It's cute and everything, but no. Pause thoughts. Using this sensory experience so that every time I was out and about living my life, I would wear the colour red and I would have rhubarbs. Like, I'm literally just thinking about my rhubarb and custard that I'm going to have in the bath. And that is going to create this sensory experience that goes beyond conscious thought. Where we get in our head, and we sit where we get in our head, what disturbs us, what code blocks us from the essence of who we are and what we're here to do, is being in our head, being in our thoughts. If we are meditating and we're just in our thoughts the whole time, which we are if you have a brain like mine, it feels like the most ridiculous waste of time in our life. But if you're going about your normal everyday, but you're accenting it with colours, you're accenting it with reds, and you're accenting it with rhubarb smells. Like, I'm going to mop the floor later, I've got a rhubarb mop, so as I'm doing it, and I'll be doing that pause thought moments of breath work throughout my everyday, that is signalling to something deeper than my conscious thought. I don't have to be actively sitting down for hours on end to access the subconscious space where co-creation happens. It just is. When I'm having something rhubarb, when I'm seeing something rhubarb red, I'm being transposed back to that space. I keep that alive by the way that my book's written. It's got short little, 2 actions. It's got short little, if there's a block around it, then it's an action. So I can literally just float into something in my book and be like, okay, let me read one part, not the whole book, because that's a lot. It's a big ass book, but one bit, okay? So know when your brain is in busy beta to action. Know that you're in busy beta mode if you can say that's me to 5 or more of these statements. So I might, before I do my mopping with my rhubarbs, just read this. And then I'll go and do my moppings with my rhubarb, and I'll be contemplating this as I'm mopping. I have a brain that doesn't stop thinking. Doesn't stop. Doesn't shut up. So when I'm mopping with my rhubarbs and I've just given myself this stimulant to be curious around, I'm going to notice my brain. I'm going to notice what's going on. And that rhubarb is going to be taking me to that deeper level of the subconscious. So that the next time that I see a red or rhubarb, without me even knowing I'm going there into that space. Can you see how you sensory piggyback hack onto these things? So let's look at this. It's a little picture of me sitting, meant to be meditating, but just thinking. Because that's what I do. So if you can say, yes, that's me to more than 5 of these. Finding time to just be alone with my thoughts, the thing I've spent years running away from. Puke on toast. I hardly have a moment to myself. Ain't no time for meditation. I don't want to just be, it's a hot mess inside my mind. The trio love this belief. It keeps their power strong. The trio being Francis, Toad, and Bob. I feel like I don't know my ass from my elbow. I've got all this life stuff to do. I know it's good for me, but I still don't want to. I know I should meditate, but I don't. The idea of needing to prioritize something else is too much. And meditating question mark, exclamation mark, and a WTF at the end of it. Like, if you're thinking, if your thoughts are in and around those things, notice that. When you've got the rhubarbs out, when you're doing that thing, you're stimulating that sensory element. How many of these thoughts have you had? If it's quite a few, I got you. I own this. I know this space. I own this space like it was my biatch for around 30 years. And now I'm out. And I'm showing you precisely what I did to free myself from that mindset. I slip back into that space because I am human. But I bloody love meditating now. And I love it because I'm willing to dive into this, to get a little sensory something from it, and then to go and live my life, mulling over it. And I make sure I got my red lippy on, I got my red hat on, or I'm having a rhubarb. I'm going through my existence with these reminders, with these sensory piggyback hacks, always in the back of my mind. So I'm always doing the work. So then, the next time I contemplate meditation, I'm like, you know what, I quite like it. I do. The places and spaces I go into now don't make any logical sense. I'm not even going to attempt to verbalize them because I'll just sound mental. I am mental. I love it. But when we're willing and able to keep the work alive, this is what I'm obsessed with. Keeping the sensory stimulants alive so that we're always having our brain occupied, because we have an overthinking brain anyway, but with thoughts that are helpful, with things that are going to allow us to go to deeper depths of the subconscious to co-create the life we're here to. That. So today is Saturday sitting. So if you are like me and you are here for more, and it's profound and it takes a lot, and it requires a lot of action from you, and you feel yourself in this plateau of action, then maybe it is a time and a calling to actually bring more being into your world. But I'm not asking you to just sit down and meditate, because that is literally like saying, just stick these pins in your eyes and then you'll see the world, and then you'll be like, no thank you. It's not sitting down and meditating, it's bringing meditation into your already busy life, making it an active part of your already busy life. Then it starts to grow inside you. And not in like Alien where it's going to come bursting out your belly button. Rah! Like, not that. This power, this inner power starts to grow inside you, and then it's not a contemplation of, oh, I should meditate. It's like, oh my God, give me a corner. Give me a corner in a dark room. I'm going to stay there for hours. I might not ever come out. Like, it's that's the energy of it. If it's not that calling of, I can't wait to do this, I really want to do it, let's go, then start there. Start in that space, because it builds that power, it builds that subconscious strength. And that, when we build that to be strong and loud enough, it just flows. It just flows. And there's no need for contemplation of, oh, I really should meditate. It's like, let me. So get your rhubarbs out, get your reds out, and go live your life of more. Go live your life of creation. We need you. We need you up. We need you active. It drives me insane when I see these incredible beings being like, oh, I'm just waiting for it to happen. I'm like, well, see you in the afterlife. Like, it's not gonna be. We are active. We are pursuing what we're here to do. We are taking aligned actions. We're taking inspired action. All of that. Don't stop that. Because your work will just stop. It'll fizzle out and die. Don't stop that. But find a way to bring that stillness into your everyday, into that power, into that push, into that creation. Because when you can do that, your capacity for what you can hold is just insane. So, rhubarbs out, rhubarb reds out, and happy Saturday sitting. Much loves.